Badger's Holt a bit in the past and done videos on that in the past, but nowadays concentrating more on the big lake, and it's lovely. It's about 20 acres. It's a little bit miserable at the moment. It's early spring and a bit cold and a bit damp, but better weather forecast later in the week. But I've chosen the shallow swim, which might seem a strange choice, but I've fished it before, only in the autumn though, and although it's only shallow out there, some lovely little deeper holes, what the carp have made themselves actually over the years, and I've done well fishing in those little spots, so I'm looking to have a little go at those again. And well, it's early season, so I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be good. I'm right over the far corner of the Shallows Bay here, and most of it is shallow. It's only about 15-18 inches deep, and it's a bit coloured up. There's been plenty of fish activity obviously, but they don't spend quite so much time just on the flat shallows, but over in the corners and along these edges here are loads of channels and, well, basically carp holes that the carp was dug out over the years. And I first fished them when we was here 1 October. The lake was fairly busy and we ended up in this area which on the face of it didn't look particularly good. October, freezing cold, frosty mornings and shallow water. But where the water was clear, I came across and I found all these carp holes and fished in them and caught an absolute load of fish. And at the time Bob Davis was the owner here, and he said, well, I've never seen anyone, you know, fish that sort of way in this swim before. You know, I didn't know there was that many carp holes, but what it is, they're actually joined up by a channel that goes all the way round the margins of this bay, and some of the holes are bigger than others, but they're all joined up and the fish sort of follow them around and, you know, spend a bit of time in there. One of the main ones is just sort of in front of these poles. You know, it's funny that they've become sort of regular spots to fish now, but they are still good spots. And just using a 20mm monster squid, fang uni, little well, it's a little dumbbell pop-up chopped in half there, and it's quite difficult. It's quite windy and these boats are ever so light. As soon as you stop rowing, you just start drifting straight away. So it's, you know, when you're trying to find one sort of little spot to put a bait, it's not easy. You've got to get it fairly quick, but luckily enough that pole does sort of mark the spot. And yeah, it takes a little bit of, see, already I'm drifting and it's hard work. This is, yeah, there we go. Drops down nicely there. There we go, about there. And then quickly throw a few baits in before you start drifting again. Like I say, it's very awkward because as soon as you stop, you're drifting straight away. So just be careful not to pull it out of position, but there we go. That's where one of the famous carp holes are. go, off the mark anyway. 29 pounder. God, I mean, it scrapped really hard, this one. First sort of day of the new season really on Serreire, and it's done alright. Paul next door, he's had a couple. I think he's just had a 56 actually, and the guy over the other side's had a couple, but first one for me over in the corner. Disturbed a fish there yesterday when I was having a look around, so I felt confident I was going to get a bite from there. Sure enough, I've gone 29 pounder, so it's a start. There we go. Lovely little mirror, only 17.5 pound, so I won't mess him about. I'll just put him straight back, but lovely bit of action, very welcome. Off you go, sunshine. All the fish I've been getting have been on the 4G squids. I'm using snowman hook baits, but baiting up with 15 mils and using 20 mils on the hair with a little pop-up, little 10 mil pop-up. So just a 20 mil on a basic combi link hook length, which I tend to use all the time these days, with the coating left on apart from the hair, which I strip. So just a 20 mil one straight on there, and a little yellow 10 mil pop-up. Pretty basic stuff as always really, but fishing the shallow swim, I'm fishing the little holes that the carp have made over the years. I call them carp holes. It's literally where the carp have dug out areas for food over the years, natural food, and you know, you're left with these craters. But in the shallow areas that sort of cover most of this part of the lake, those deep holes are obvious hotspots. There we go. Little snowman. Not particularly long hook length. It's quite soft out there, but in the holes it's a little bit harder, a little bit firmer, so 5-ounce lead and a little snowman, a little pop-up, just helps it sink a little bit slower than, you know, a basic bottom bait would. Over the top of that, a couple of handfuls of pellets, not too much. Some hemp as always, a couple of handfuls of hemp, and a sprinkling, like I say, of the 15mm 4G squids, and that's all I'm doing. I'm doing that every time, and yeah, it's going off every day. We've had action every day now, so it's doing the job. And I'd like to try and get a bit of action from open water. I've seen a couple of fish for the first time actually, seen fish shown in open water, so I've put a bait out there today. But all of the fish otherwise are coming in, like I say, these carp holes, so that's where this one's going to go back out now, in one of those little holes over the margins on the far side of the bay, and hopefully it's going to do the job. Well, nice afternoon surprise. Been quiet today actually. Been warmer, it was cold all day yesterday, but we managed 3 bites. And today it's been nicer, certainly a bit warmer. A bit blowy, but been quiet. And anyway, I moved my middle rod, because the only place I've had action is down the end of the bay there, in the shallows, so I put another one down there a bit further along. Sure enough, gone off anyway, and yeah, nice common, 34.5 pound, and as usual you don't want to have it, do you? But I'll tell you what, it did half a scrap, and looking at it, you know, playing it out in the water, the weight of it and everything, I thought it was going to be near at the £50 to be honest, but it wasn't. It was 34.5, but yeah, nice afternoon surprise anyway. Happy enough with that. Lovely Serreire fish. Nice to get a common actually. They've all been mirrors up until now, so there we go. Lovely jubbly. Oh, second take today on this rod. I moved one earlier, again down in the shallows, but a different spot. because the other rods weren't really producing, and it went off early with a 35 common, and it's just gone off again. So it was a good move anyway. The only trouble in this shallow water is they tend to kite rather than steam off in any direction. They just kite right round the swim. I mean, there's a fair bit of room for them to go. The guy who's in next door, he had one this morning that literally went across all three of these. And I just see this line cutting across the swim. But it was all okay. All ended up okay. Bad one, nice mirror. Lovely stuff. There we go. Just over 35 and a quarter. Oh, lovely stuff. There we go, nice surprise, two-tone 35 and a quarter pound mirror. And yeah, for once I didn't think it was as big as what it was. The 34 common fought like a lunatic earlier, like commons do, and this one felt about half as big. It's actually a pound bigger, so there we go, you never know, do you? And for once it's actually let me video it without jumping all over the place, so thank you very much for that, Mr. Mirror. Very pleased to see you. It's changed, doesn't it? Oh, there we go. It's been a cold, wet, miserable day today. Wind's been really cold and it's rained on and off. And I lost one earlier for a hook pull. So all in all, it wasn't a great day until now, because I just had this one and it was just over £40, so the best one of the session so far. 40 and a quarter, nice chunky mirror. And it certainly brightened up a dull day, because like I say, it hasn't been the best of days, but it's ended up okay. I found a new little spot yesterday, and all the action's coming from that now. A new little hole. I mean, it's quite shallow over where I'm fishing, but it drops down into about 4 foot, right in the margins over there, and that's where they're picking it up from. And the old 4G squid, they're all coming on that. Yeah, happy days. Just sitting there thinking how nice it looked for a bite, and well, never had a bleat actually. I just see the rod tip bend round. I was just looking at it and the rod tip literally just bent round in front of me. I'll tell you what, it's been a horrible day today, but we've had a couple of fish. Had a 29 common earlier, and I've just had this one, just had dinner, and thought there was absolutely no chance of a bite because it's absolutely horrible, and it's gone off the cracking 42-pound mirror. That is obviously going to bash me up because they always do, but well pleased with that. Just a couple of toots. We'd actually zipped the door down because it was so horrible. Didn't want to see any of it really. So, there we go. A couple of bleeps and a good hard sort of plodding scrap. And this was on the end. Happy days, 42. So there's still a couple of days left. Well, one day left, 2 nights. But it's a couple of 40s now we've had this week, and I'm well happy with that. So good stuff. Nice chunky fish. Chunky Serreire mirror. Well, a lovely surprise. It's the last morning, literally just about to pack up, getting gear out the bivvy, and off one's gone. And whoa, a lovely common, 41.5 pound, best common of the week, third 40, and well, the end of a fantastic week really. It's been great here on Serreire. We've had some nice fish, action virtually every day. That just about tops it off. Like I say, this is it. This is definitely the last one. Just about to pack up. So, what a lovely way to end. Thanks, Simon and Carina. Thanks, Serreire. Thanks, Mr. Carp.